What is up, everybody? Welcome to Guys and Bets on this lovely Wednesday afternoon. Your two favorite internet personalities here, me, Ninja, and of course, Joe Osborne. And Joe, right off the bat here, I've got to say, congratulations. You're a lifelong passionate West Ham fan, and they achieved what some thought was close to the impossible. They qualified for the Europa League. Very strong season for West Ham. So they finished ahead of Tottenham. So I just got to say congrats. It was a great season and exciting things to come next year with Europa League on the horizon.
Indeed. I think I jumped on the bandwagon at the right time. This is definitely a team on the rise, and they won me a lot of beer going head-to-head with you. And, of course, our former coworker, Ian, I think his name was. I won quite a few beers off him. So, West Ham, hey, guys, we're accepting more fans. So if you want to jump on the bandwagon, now is the time.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the summer as far as, potential incoming transfers. I don't know if there's going to be any players that are sold, maybe Declan Rice. But beyond that, good things here on the horizon for West Ham. Now, last time we were here, we've talked about no-hitters this season, Joe. Last time we were here on G&B, Corey Kluber throws a no-hitter. What's that, 6?
I think it's up to 6 or 7 now. But, this is annoying because we see this in every sport. Like once in the NBA, when everyone started to shoot a bunch of threes, they copied off the Golden State Warriors. It was, okay, what changes can we make now? Because this is going in a direction that we don't like. Now we're hearing people, what changes can we make with baseball? They talk about making changes with baseball every day. But just leave it how it is. It's a natural progression of a sport, and it's something that's occurring. It's kind of cool. These people who get annoyed by it, it's unwatchable. There's been 6 no-hitters out of what? How many games into the season are we? 1,000? Relax, yeah. So I think it's kind of cool. It's fun to see. I get really nervous, though, when the guy's in the 9th inning with, the 3 outs left, because I'm always scared. I feel very, very uncomfortable watching, even if it isn't my team. My team is the Blue Jays, and they don't throw no-hitters. But, very uncomfortable situation for your boy here.
Blue Jays have the youngster Alek Manoah, of course, getting called up from AAA. He's going to start, actually, tonight against the Yankees, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Real quick, Madison Bumgarner had that no in 7 in, I think, the front end of a doubleheader, but of course, doubleheaders, 7 innings now. Does that count in Joe Osborne's world as a no-hitter?
Yes, because the rule of that specific game is that it is a 7-inning game. He threw the 7 innings of that the game was scheduled for and didn't allow a hit. Simple as that.
We will have a little MLB here momentarily, but we'll get started with some NBA playoffs here first. But a little messaging off the top here. And you can get an NBA playoff picks from Prediction Machine at 40% off. That's right. Get your NBA playoff picks with 40% off with Prediction Machine's NBA playoff promo pack. Head over to Oddshark for your 1-month pass. Prediction Machine, where results come first. They maximize your bankroll with the most accurate predicted outcomes and customized bet amounts for every game.
Hey, how about the Dallas Mavericks going up 2-0, winning 2 games in LA? Nothing can make me happier than that. First of all, because I had the Luka over, and I also had the Mavs being undervalued. They were at +7 at one point going into that game. But the LA Clippers, we saw last year was really bad, where they just kind of coasted through the regular season and they expected to flip that switch in the playoffs. And that kind of ended up hurting them when they blew the 3-1 lead versus the Nuggets. Similar version this year. It wasn't as blatant with the load management and whatnot, but they kind of coasted by on the talent, then thought they were going to flip the switch when they got to the playoffs. Not off to a good start, and they're in a pretty big hole, losing the first 2 games at home as a pretty big favorite. So if they go on to lose that series, which I hope they do, it'll be very interesting to see what Kawhi Leonard does, because apparently he can opt out of his contract. He also apparently bought like a $30 million house in Los Angeles. So that would kind of make you think that, well, maybe he's not interested in going to a different market, but maybe something could open up with the other team that plays in Los Angeles if they don't reach their potential.
Yep, very interesting subplots upcoming. Clippers find themselves in that hole. Wizards also find themselves in the hole here, Joe. Philly up 1-0. Game 2 tonight. What's got your eye in this game?
What has my eye is one of the biggest guys in bets, darling, of the entire NBA season. It is the Wizards. It's been about a week since we've done a Wizards pick on the show, so we're due for another one, and I have the stats and the logic to back it up. I like the Wizards here at +8. Here's why I like them to cover the spread tonight. Over their last 23 games, do you know how many losses of 8 or more the Wizards have? They have just one and are on a nice stretch as an underdog where they've gone 11-3 ATS since April 5th. I don't feel like that's being taken into account with the spread, nor is how the teams match up statistically down the stretch of the regular season. Taking a look at the last 10 games of the season, many key stats were close, with the Wiz ranking better in points per 100 possessions, turnover percentage, and free throw attempt rate. And speaking of free throws, that was a key difference in Game 1, with Philly getting to the line 18 more times than the Wizards. Despite that, and having 5 fewer turnovers, they only won by 7. For all those reasons, I like the Wizards. +8.
Let's keep it in the Eastern Conference here for your second pick. We'll give you back-to-back honors here at the top of the show. Just keep the NBA theme going here. Yeah. You mentioned your Luka Doncic prop, which you had yesterday on GMB Quickies, which you can find on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But give us another player prop here. Hawks, Knicks. Hawks, of course, up 1-0. Trae Young with that shot late in that game to cement the victory there. But what are you looking at here in Game 2?
Well, I know why the people are tuning into Guys and Bets today. It's for a Bogdanovic. I've been practicing that all morning. We got a prop for this guy. I think he's being undervalued on his points. It's at 17.5, and I like the over. Here's why I like this pick tonight. Bogdanovic has been filling it up for the Hawks as he scored 18 or more in 5 straight games. That's nothing new, as he has 17 games of 18-plus points since the start of April, including the 18 in Game 1 and a 20-point game versus the Knicks on April 21st. The opportunity will absolutely be there for Bogdanovic, who just needs to capitalize. He's second on the Hawks behind Trae Young in shot attempts per game since the All-Star break. And with Trae Young making all that noise in Game 1, scoring 32 points, you think maybe he might get a little bit of extra defensive attention from the Knicks. I do. And this could create a few extra looks for our guy Bogdanovic, who I like to go over 17.5 points.
Let's go over to Major League Baseball now, a trio of picks coming up here. I'll start things off. Little interleague action here. Atlanta Braves visiting the Boston Red Sox. I am going to go Red Sox money line on this one. Was -125 here, and it's actually shot up to -140. I faded Drew Smyly last week on that Pirates team total, and I'll do it again here, but on that Sox money line. Smyly had a couple decent starts earlier in the month, but this season has not been good. 5.11 ERA, 6.36 FIP, 1.32 WHIP. He's got a negative wins above replacement. Just a rough go of it in 2021 for Drew Smyly. And it could get even uglier tonight at Fenway. Red Sox are a good hitting team and have great numbers against lefties. Red Sox top 10 in all of baseball in average, OBP, slugging, OPS, WOBA, WRC plus versus left-handed pitching. Even Bobby Dahlbeck is mashing lefties to the tune of a 1.028 OPS against lefty pitching compared to 452 against righties. Yikes. And I talked about it before, but it bears repeating. This Braves bullpen has been bad this season, so it's not like they can turn to a safety net out of the pen in trouble spots later on in the game. Nick Pivetta gets the ball for Boston. He's been the top money earner in baseball so far among starting pitchers. 9 games, up $717 if wagering 100 on the Red Sox in each of those Pivetta starts. He's got a personal 5-0 record Red Sox 8-1 in his 9 starts. He had a rough outing or two this month and is coming off 4 earned in 5 innings in his last start against the Jays. But this guy gets run support. Sox win when he's on the bump. I'll give it a shot here. I got it at minus 125 at home against the Braves.
I feel like you kind of took the easy way out by not doing a pun with Smiley. Braves bettors frown when Smiley is on the mound. That seems to be right up your alley, right?
I had a Smiley pun in that Pirates cap last week. Something to the effect of nothing to smile about. So I'll leave it there. I know when to end.
We've gone to the well on that one quite a bit. I'm going to keep going there. Next time I'm going to fade Smiley myself.
Yeah, man, do it. Keep it going. Another little interleague game here, though, for you, Joe. The red-hot L.A. Dodgers at Minute Maid Park against the Houston Astros. What do you got?
I got the Dodgers coming in at minus 138. I think it's pretty good value on them. Edges everywhere I look. So here's why I like the Dodgers to beat the Astros tonight. I see edges everywhere for the Dodgers, who've won 8 straight, starting with the starting pitching matchup. Trevor Bauer has a 1.14 ERA in 4 starts this month to go along with a 1.96 FIP. His counterpart, Luis Garcia, has a 4.05 ERA on the month with a 5.04 FIP. I think LA can get to Garcia early as they've been smacking righties around, ranking 6th in OPS and 4th in WRC plus versus righties over the last 2 weeks. And the biggest edge might come with the bullpens. The Dodgers have been lights out, ranking 3rd in bullpen FIP and with a 2.15 ERA over the last 2 weeks. The Astros, on the other hand, ranked 27th in FIP at 5.28. Give me the Dodgers to win tonight against the Astros.
Just looking at Trevor Bauer's baseball reference page here. 4 career starts at Minute Maid, 4-0 record, 1.35 ERA for Trevor Bauer.
Of course, he always dominates in those stadiums that have a retractable roof.
Yeah, is that the
right? Oh, yeah, he thrives in that type of ballpark, right? So, absolutely loves it. He gets up for these games.
That's right. Motivation factor high in retractable roof spots. I'll keep it with the NL West theme here, but I'm looking at that Giants D-backs game. Giants money line here for me, minus 115, and boy, oh boy, what a rough month of May here for the lowly Arizona Diamondbacks. 4-19 so far this month. Losers of 9 straight ball games and lost 8-0 to these Giants last night. 3rd worst OPS in baseball this month. WRC plus of 75, ahead of only the Pittsburgh Pirates. 15 homers this month, 2nd fewest in baseball. Just on and on and on. Tonight they face Johnny Cueto, who's been pretty decent this season. 3.34 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, 2.89 FIP. He's got a personal record of 3-1. Giants are 4-2 in his 6 starts. He comes off a pretty easy game here. It was that 19-4 win over the Reds. That was his last start. He went 5, allowing 1 earned on 5 hits. Merrill Kelly gets the ball for Arizona. He's been sort of okay this season, but this D-backs bullpen is horrific. 4th highest ERA in baseball, 3rd highest WHIP, 7th highest FIP, 2nd highest BABIP. Just rough numbers across the board here for that D-backs pen. Saving grace here for the D-backs is that they're just a game below 500 at home, but Giants, nice little 15-12 record on the road. I will try my luck with Johnny Cueto and the San Francisco Giants tonight.
John Cueto.
Yeah.
Hey, so what do you think? I'm a little late on this, but what's your thoughts on the Tim Tebow situation? I saw he's selling a ton of jerseys already with Jacksonville, but there's some people upset about it. Some people are angry that he's taking a roster spot. I think it's fun, so I'm excited to see it. What do you think?
Well, I mean, if he's selling a lot of jerseys here, is it a marketing move by the Jags?
Well, at the end of the day, it is a business, and he might not even make the team.
Yeah,
so
true.
They might make a boatload of money off this guy that they're going to have in a training throughout the summer that doesn't even make the preseason. For example, he'll be in preseason, but I'm excited to see it happen. It's Tim Tebow, it's fun. 33 years old. I thought he would have been a better fullback maybe, but it comes down to, can he catch? And he looks to be in fantastic shape, obviously.
Yeah.
But, he's never had any serious injuries. But, yeah, I'm very interested to see it happen. I think the Jaguars are a bit of a sexy team coming into the season.
Yeah, you've talked about it before, and it's a good point. It is a business. No, he may not make the final 53-man roster. And if they can parlay his name into some jersey sales, hey, man, why not? Generate a little hype. I want to ask you, Julio Jones, of course, in the news for appearing on, I forget what show on ESPN, but talking about his time in Atlanta is up. And now I'm seeing the Niners getting rumored to be a potential destination spot. What do you think of that whole situation?
Okay, well, I don't know what the Niners have to give up. I know they don't have they gave away a bunch of first rounders. Atlanta apparently wants a first rounder, and I think if you're going to give up a first rounder for Julio Jones, you're nuts. Either you're nuts or you have to be like right there and you're like missing one key thing. Julio Jones is a 32 years old wide receiver, which is ancient in wide receiver years. Well,
True.
maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but he's also coming off a season where I think he only played 8 games. Anyone who plays fantasy football knows that Julio Jones is a game time decision more often than not, right? 2 out of every 3 games questionable all week. So, yeah, somebody's going to overpay for him. So, good for Atlanta. They're in a little bit of a mini rebuild, maybe. In a bit of a soft division, I think, aside from Tampa Bay. So who knows? They could make some noise and surprise some people. But, yeah, they can get some value out of Julio Jones. He's always beat up. Someone's probably going to overpay. And, yeah, it's not quite like a Blake Griffin to the Nets type of situation.
No.
Like I remember when Blake Griffin went to the Nets, everyone's like, oh, it's the big 4 now. No, not quite. So it's not as drastic as that, but how many good years does Julio Jones have left, and can you depend on him to stay on the field? When he is out there 100%, he's a top 10 receiver in the league. But how realistic is that to happen over a long period of time? Not very, I would say.
I shouldn't insinuate the fact that the Niners are a serious player. I think the headline I saw was that, like, quote, Niners are interested. But, I mean, if you're a team that, might be thin at that position, you're obviously going to be interested, but it depends on the asking price. So
I think if the Green Bay Packers went to Aaron Rodgers and said, okay, let's give this another go. We realize where you're at in your career and our championship window is very limited. How would you feel if we went and got Julio Jones? And he might perk up a little bit as a result of that, right? I think Rodgers is 36, 37 years old. And I know guys are playing longer these days, especially the guys at the quarterback position. But I think that might be something that would be appealing to him. So, yeah, it will be very interesting to see what happens there.
I didn't ask you about this, but one other NBA game on the board tonight, Grizzlies at Jazz. Joe, Memphis up in that 1-0. Great game from Dylan Brooks there. But do you have any thoughts one way or another on game 2 between the Grizz and the Jazz?
Yeah, I kind of like the Grizzlies up to plus 9.5. Now in that one, do we expect Utah just to roll them and win by double digits? I don't. I might have to pull the trigger on that. Actually, I know Donovan Mitchell is coming back tonight, and that's not always a good thing. It will be in the long run, but right away, he's going to be the dominant player on the team, and he's been out of the lineup for some time now. So is the chemistry going to be a little bit off to the point where the Grizzlies can keep it inside 10 points? Ja Morant, he's starting to prove himself as a little bit of a big game player too. He's putting up some pretty big point totals here. So, yeah, I like the Grizzlies there. Plus 9.5, that's a pretty good spot. Hawks, Knicks, I don't know, man. That's a pretty tough game, too. That was the game of the weekend, I would say. One of the games of the season in all of the NBA. So, Knicks, I think at home -2, I think that would be the way I would go. I like that Knicks first half spot. That's probably in play as well. So yeah, very interesting. It's I like that Grizzlies 9.5 though. What's going on there?
Anything else on the MLB board? I'm kind of intrigued by the Mets minus 135 at home against Colorado. Stroman gets the ball for the Mets. Colorado, just an abysmal team on the road here. I was kind of thinking about the Rays on the run line, minus 1.5, even though I don't necessarily bet run line, but Glasnow against Mike Minor. Rays were rolling. They lost last night, but they were on an absolute tear. Then you've got like the Padres minus 130 on the road at Milwaukee. That's Chris Paddock.
Paddock might be back. I kind of like the Padres myself at minus 123. Eric Lauer's been all right, though, to be fair, but the Brewers' bullpen has been a pretty big disappointment. If Paddock can get back to what he was in his rookie season, man, that's going to be scary with him in that rotation, especially because Blake Snell's been so up and down. Blake Smell, of course. So, yeah, I like the Padres. I made a couple notes here last night, like when I'm going to, like some pre-handicapping, I guess you would call it, the Texas Rangers as an underdog versus the Angels.
I thought about that. Dane Dunning's been good.
Dane Dunning's been undervalued. Griff Canning has been up and down. Of course, no Mike Trout there, and the Angels bullpen absolutely stinks.
Yeah.
And strikeout props, I've been hot on these. You might have noticed, maybe you didn't. You probably didn't, but I only bet unders on strikeout props, and that's going pretty good for me. I had Jack Flaherty last night, and numbers are too low. Like I was even looking at Bauer to fade his strikeout total potentially, with the Astros being one of the teams that strikes out the fewest in baseball, but he said at 6.5, so that's too low for Bauer. Glasnow's there at 8.5, but the under, I think, was might have been overjuiced on that. So, yeah, nothing as of right now, but I'm going to see where the lines are moving here at the conclusion of the program, and anything else I like, I'll definitely throw it on twitter.com.
Europa League final goes this afternoon. Of course, it's Villarreal, Man United. United minus 110, Villarreal plus 310, draw plus 245. On the three-way money line there. Looks like no Martial for United. Chukwueze and Foyth potentially doubtful there for Villarreal. Of course, Juan Foyth, the loanee from Tottenham Hotspur. I don't like, you gotta like Man U in that spot, but like 3-1 for Villarreal. How do you not take a stab at that for a bit of afternoon fun? Of course, they've got Unai Emery, who's won this tournament multiple times. He knows what it takes to win. Man U, obviously, the more talented team, hence the price there on the three-way money line. But interesting spot there for Villarreal at plus 310. Don't know if I'll play that game. I might do so later on. When is that? Few hours kick off. From now, might take a little sprinkle on that, but should be an interesting one, and that, of course, wraps up the Europa League season. Anything else you want to throw out to the folks at home before we sign off here, Joe?
No, not really. The NBA playoffs have been a blast so far. It's great to see, real basketball because, as everyone knows and everyone complains about, myself included, motivation is questionable at different points throughout the regular season. So, everyone kind of has their foot on the gas. It was nice to see the Lakers bounce back. I think we can all agree, even if you hate the Lakers, that having the Lakers be competitive in the NBA playoffs is better for the NBA. It creates more drama. And of course, LeBron, he does bring the big ratings, and Anthony Davis had a nice bounce back there as well. So that's a very interesting series, but I'm very happy that the Clippers are in that 0-2 hole. I hate them for some reason. I can't stand them.
Yeah, the NBA playoffs have been good. NHL, any thoughts there?
Oh, man. Well, I'm a bit of I think it's this season I've been a fair weather hockey fan, meaning I didn't really pay attention to it. And I'm a Penguins fan. I don't know if you can see over my shoulder. We got Sidney Crosby lifting the Stanley Cup. I don't know if the camera catches that. But yeah, I've been a Penguins fan since I was a little kid. I hopped on the bandwagon when it was Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr and Kevin Stevens, Tom Barrasso, and those guys. Yeah, 100%. So, I jumped right back on the bandwagon at the tail end of the regular season when they were really heating up at the right time. And that was such a heartbreaking loss, man, the other night. Goes into overtime. They were dominating that game, at least in terms of shots on net. I think they had more than double than that of the Islanders. And then Jari, just a complete boneheaded move, man. Just a horrible, horrible giveaway that gave away the game. So now Pittsburgh in a very tough spot going into New York, down 3-2, game 6 tonight, minus 105. Of course, I'm going to pick them. I haven't been betting the NHL in the playoffs, but yeah, I like Pittsburgh to get it going. It's a tough spot, though. A very tough crowd. I got to give that crowd a lot of credit. Yeah. One of the louder crowds I've heard since fans have been back in arenas and ballparks and stuff like that. So man, I'm hoping they can force a game 7 because I've enjoyed watching hockey these past couple of weeks.
Yeah, and the Panthers will look to force a game 7. They're plus 125 tonight at Tampa Bay. Minnesota will look to force a game 7. They are plus 115 at home against the Golden Knights. Lots to bet on here tonight, folks. Whatever you folks do with your bets, best of luck. Follow Joe on Twitter at JTFOZ, myself at Chalk_Ninja. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, we're pre-recording here. Live streams have been a bit sketchy, so it's kind of detrimental to just put those out there live. We'll be back in studio on Friday, though, so that's exciting. But we'll be back tomorrow, Thursday, with G&B Quickies, so stay tuned on YouTube for that. Best of luck with your bets. See you on Friday.
Time for lunch!